video has been a long time coming. It has been requested multiple times and it's been on my list for probably a year and a half. So we're finally here today talking all about intermittent fasting and my experience with it. Before we go into it any further, little disclaimer, I am not a medical doctor. I am not telling you what you should or should not do. I am simply sharing my story, what happened to me, and my experience with intermittent fasting. So if you're anybody who struggles with health issues or any sort of disordered eating, I would highly recommend talking to your doctor before starting intermittent fasting or anything like it. So I hate diets. Yep, I said it. I am a big fan of just healthy eating. I guess you could say intuitive eating. I do think that a lot of times food is medicine and you can heal a lot of health issues by how you eat. But as far as like fad diets, restricting yourself, things like that, I feel like it's just setting yourself up for failure. At least that's my experience with it. So intermittent fasting, I'll just say right up front, is not what you eat, it's when you eat. So simply intermittent fasting on its own is simply that you eat within a certain time frame, that you don't eat the rest of the time. It is not about what you eat so much, although I am a big proponent of what you eat then should be nourishing your body as it should be any of the time. So anyway, I'm gonna start off with just kind of sharing my story, and then we'll go a little bit into what intermittent fasting does, and I'll list the things that I have seen improvement in since starting. But I'm not gonna go into all the science of intermittent fasting, although that is super intriguing to me as well. And I'll link some resources in the description box below so that you can check that out for yourself. It's truly incredible when your body does not have to focus on making insulin, on what it focuses then, and all that happens is truly incredible. I'm gonna start with my story. So I did a video a long time ago on my story with Lyme disease. Y'all know I struggled with it for years and had a pretty big battle, but we won, praise the Lord, and I was finally cured of Lyme disease. I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. It was Lyme disease plus like 20 other health issues, co-infections, whatever you want to call them, and low blood sugar was actually one of them. So I was completely convinced that I had to eat by 7:30 in the morning every day. If not, I would almost have a panic attack because I was so terrified that I would feel awful because of my low blood sugar if I didn't eat first thing in the morning. So when my cousin talked about intermittent fasting, I was like, wait, what's this? And I was like, oh, I wish I could, because she had all these amazing results, but I felt like I couldn't because of my low blood sugar. And then I did some more research and found that, wait, what? People actually cure low blood sugar by intermittent fasting? And I was really intrigued. So I did some more research on it and decided, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna start slow. I talked to my doctor about it and he was supportive. And so I started really slow. Like I would just wait till 8 o'clock in the morning to eat instead of 7:30, and then just like slowly pushed it out half an hour at a time until I was at my 16-8, which is 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of eating each day. And that's kind of where I set at. It's kind of swayed here and there since then, but that's generally what I stick with. So I'll eat dinner and then I won't eat again all evening or the next morning until around noontime, and then I'll have my first meal of the day. I was expecting to feel terrible and was absolutely blown away with suddenly how much more energy I had. I would say that's the first thing I noticed, just the energy I had as well as my digestion. I know this is TMI, but I used to not be able to go to the bathroom for 8 days in a row, which is not good for you. And so that was one of the things that I noticed. Oh my word, if nothing else had changed, it was worth it just for those two things. Finally, I felt like I had the energy to be a mom to all these little kids. Leslie had just been born a couple months prior to this. So I had 3 young kids and it just felt like such a gift that finally I had energy to be the mom to them that I had always longed to be. As time went on and I continued to do this, I noticed some other things like like less brain fog. Suddenly this cloud that I had was just kind of like lifted. I felt so much better. I started noticing that I was craving healthier foods in my eating window. I think because just my whole digestion was feeling so much better. So I don't know how you are, but for me, if I feel really bad about myself and if I feel just gross, then I'm gonna reach for bad food easier, versus if I feel light and energetic and able to work out and all these things, then I also want to nourish my body just naturally. Like I crave those foods more. So I noticed that, which then in turn, of course, I also noticed that my skin looked a lot better, almost like just this healthy glow. That was a pleasant surprise, not something I was expecting to see, as well as much better sleep. And yes, I did also lose weight on it, which I know a lot of people do intermittent fasting simply for the weight loss. To me, the weight loss was more of an added benefit because the host of other health things I was dealing with. For me, intermittent fasting was absolutely worth it just for those factors, but the weight loss was also like a cherry on top. In fact, I thought it was interesting because I don't know actually the science behind this, but I've heard others talk about it. Not only do you lose weight, but you almost lose it differently than when you're not intermittent fasting, and I think it's like kind of your body composition. Like you lose it in the right places. I don't know how to say it, but it's something I noticed that I had never experienced before. And I think a big thing that happens with the intermittent fasting with weight loss is intermittent fasting. One of the biggest things it's known for is that it lowers inflammation in your body, which also then lowers your risk of cancer and all these things. And so I think when the inflammation goes away, that's a big part of what you're seeing with the weight loss and all of that. But I thought that was interesting. So the way I do my fasting is, I know some people have coffee. Some people do dirty fasting where they add a little bit of cream in their coffee in the mornings and still consider it fasting. For me, I do only water and then I take my like morning vitamins, but only water during that fasting period, and absolutely love it. I drink a lot more water. If I start getting hungry, I will drink more water. And I thought it was so interesting that when I would get hungrier and hungrier and hungrier, and like your stomach starts gnawing maybe some days, if you push through a little bit past that, that's when you feel your absolute best. Like the hunger goes away and it's just like next level energy. I don't know how it works, but it's like the best feeling ever. I did write 3 things down that really stuck out to me that intermittent fasting is known for. The first one is that the inflammation goes way down. The second one is that you actually grow new brain cells when you're fasting, and that in turn gives you a much clearer head, which is one of the huge things that I noticed when I started. So that in turn will also lower depression and things like that, which I don't know. I'm so fascinated just by the science behind all of it. I'm not gonna go into it all. Check out Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube. He has hundreds, probably thousands of videos on intermittent fasting, and those have been super helpful to me and in even understanding more behind how it works. And then the third thing that intermittent fasting is kind of known for is that it actually boosts your immune system. You actually grow new stem cells in your bone marrow, which is fascinating. So anyways, those are some of the things that I find intriguing. I have done this now for about 4 years, and from my experience, it is a very sustainable lifestyle. I do not look at it at all as, oh, I'm so restricted. To me, it feels more like such a gift, something that I found that has truly helped my health. What's interesting is when I got pregnant with Abby, then of course I couldn't continue to do intermittent fasting while I was pregnant. I noticed quickly that a bunch of these things came back. Like I didn't feel as clear in my head, my stomach felt really gross, aside from the nausea, just that, like, I call it the slop bucket feeling. Anybody relate? And a number of these things just came back. And then postpartum, I have done some intermittent fasting when I am breastfeeding. And again, I would say talk to your doctor. I did this under close doctor supervision, especially while nursing. You just want to make sure that you are getting what you need also for the baby. Make sure you eat plenty of calories while you're in your eating window. And that's when, again, the baby weight has been falling off without me trying anything else. And again, it was just interesting, the correlation when I started That's when my head felt clearer, when I felt like I had more energy again, and all these things. Digestion is better. So for me, it has been such a blessing. I know there's people out there that are like, oh, it messes this up and this up and this up. Health is not a one size fits all. I am not saying that intermittent fasting is for everyone, but you also can't convince me that it's bad for everyone, because I am living proof that it has been just such a gift, something that has truly, and my health has never been better than when I am intermittent fasting. So I hope that was helpful. I know it was a bit of a shorter video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. I do not know everything about intermittent fasting. What I do know is my experience with it, the research I have done, and people that I know doing it and having wonderful results. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for being here, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.